He's like, so what's your power?
They like this. Actually, you look at the VQ meter back there? You're doing that really good.
Can't get out of this. He still broke me up. It was funny the way that and this is what I did. It's like how you get out of sometimes. Yeah. And I called them up. And just spilling right out. It was some sort of nervous, like, she's not street smart. Yeah. She wants to be careful. I'm gonna book in.
Desegregated.
Welcome to the Jews for Jesus Summit.
Well,
almost lost April.
Last panel of the convention. You guys made it. So who wants to learn about cartoons and the voices behind them? Excellent. But you guys can do better than that. Who wants to learn about cartoons and the voices behind them? I'm Jeff Burns. Much like some of these people on the panel, I'm also a voice actor, but I have nothing on these people, so you don't want to hear any of my credits right now. But here today we have Michael Bell, Shannon Farnon, Ray Eagles, Renae Jacobs, and James Mathis. I'm going to do this moderated for a little bit, and if we have time, we'll get to some Q&A at the end, but I just wanted to go through everyone. Tell us some of the voices that people would know you best for, and then tell us about an obscure voiceover job that would make everyone's heads explode if they found out it was you. Michael, why don't we start with you?
Obscure. I used to do the voice in front of the parquet. And obscure. A Wish for Wings That Work, which is a Christmas special for Steven Spielberg. Which was really great. Yeah, that was super. But other than that, I don't know what they were doing before. G.I. Joe, Transformers, Rugrats.
Now we are.
I want to take classes from Michael. So to say that he's done a few voices is just the understatement of all time. I'm well known for Shannon Farnon, Wonder Woman. I originated the voice. And did it forever and ever. And then I also did the Valley of the Dinosaurs. But I am a lightweight here at the table. And most of my obscure work was not in voiceover. So that wouldn't help you at all.
Hi everybody, thanks for coming out. I know it's late, it's the last time, but I really appreciate seeing all of you, and thank you all that you stopped by my table today. It was really nice to meet you. My most popular voice probably would be the voice of the Grim Reaper from the Cartoon Network series, Billy, Grim Adventures of Billy Mandy. And as far as like obscure voices, which you probably never heard, but I actually did a gig where I had to play Bill Clinton's penis. So you will never hear that because fortunately that comedy album was never released. But that was my weirdest gig. And, if you ever want to know what Bill Clinton's penis sounds like, hey, that's what they hired me to do.
I want to know what Bill Clinton's penis had to say. It's been around, I hear.
We got to talk after the panel.
Okay. I'm Renae Jacobs, better known for the voice of April O'Neil on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I met all of you in my booth, thank you. Obscure. So there was a show that was at the beginning of the video game era called Masters of the Maze. And I was the mistress of the maze and dressed up in a very strange costume. You know the show? Okay, so dressed up in this strange costume, and that was me.
Good afternoon. My mic's not on. Good afternoon. My name is James Mathis III. I am currently the voice of Black Panther in the Avengers cartoons and video games. I'm least known for providing the voice of.
Look it up.
Yeah, I was supposed to look it up. What do you call it? The announcer in a Ridge Racer car driving racing game. Yeah. Yep.
Now, the next question I like to ask, but I'm going to change it up a little bit, is how did you get into voiceover, and what was your very first voiceover job, and how did it feel to go into the booth for the first time?
I slept with just about everyone in Hollywood. And that didn't get me work, which was really odd. I think the first thing I did, well, I was an on-camera actor. I was under contract for Universal Studios, doing a lot of shows, and of course, yesterday was on MASH and Police Company and all those shows, and all the movie shows in the 70s. And after a while, I realized I wasn't doing what I wanted to do, which was wonderful, working like that, which was great, except I was playing the same characters, and all of a sudden seeing one of the series, and just all they did was change the blood to prevent botulism. So I finally got into voiceovers through a girl I was dating at the time, Joan Gerber, one of the top voiceover actors in the business. She said, "I'm going to play the things you want to play, let's do VO." So I said, okay. And she said, "Let me take you to a session." So she took me to a session with Neil Blanc, that she had worked with constantly, and then she threw me in. Noah Blanc, his son, said, "You want to try something with Dad?"
Oh, wow.
And I said, "Yeah, sure, absolutely." Dad. And he said, "Dad, you're an East Indian, and Michael, you're a young guy, and you're buying the rug from me for this commercial." And I said, "Great." And then Mel didn't do an East Indian, he did an American Indian. And we did the spot, and I said, "Okay." And he said, "Dad, I want an East Indian." He said, "Okay," and we tried it again. It was another American Indian. And he said, "Hold on a second, Mike, can you do an East Indian?" I said, "Yeah." Is that okay? And Mel said, "No, go boy chick. You're doing up to the other guy." And we did it, and I said, I came home and I beat out Mel Blanc.
Wow.
That was the beginning.
Wow.
She was teaching me other things other than voiceover.
I'm also a non-camera actress. voiceover was always something I wanted to do, but I wound up in my late 20s thinking I have to hurry and start voiceover work because I want to get pregnant. And of course, during my pregnancy, I never got a job, so that didn't really make any difference. I was only on camera. Not that I didn't like on camera. I loved on camera. I've done lots of things. But I started doing voiceover work on commercials, not cartoons. Cartoons was just a wonderful, blessed little accident that came about because I did a commercial and the director called me into audition for it. And the rest is history.
Who was the director at the time when you auditioned for Wonder Woman?
Wally Bird, who's no longer with us.
My first booking as a voiceover actor was a radio spot for a East Coast sports store called Moderator. And they wanted someone that was big and fat and who sounded like they were big and fat and black. So, I had to, I mean, not fat, but what it was to me, they basically were looking for a Fat Albert type character, like the Bill Cosby, that kind of stuff. So I just looked at the direction and I went in and I did Fat Albert. I did my Fat Albert impression and lo and behold, I got the so that's the first thing I ever did. And actually, I just signed with a commercial agency just as they were starting their voiceover division. Never booked an on-camera commercial in my life. But everything that I booked was just all voiceovers from then on. Because I came in pretty prepared. I had done a lot of radio. I had written comedy scripts on the radio. I did a lot of different voices for radio. So I was not afraid to, get behind the mic and just have fun. And from then it was just like, thank you. But that was the first gig first professional voiceover gig I actually ever went out. I did a Fat.
So I actually started doing voiceovers in my basement. When I was about 7 years old, I was mimicking all of the Walt Disney recordings. They used to come in an album with an album that opened up. You guys are too young for that. But it opened up, it had all the pages from the stories, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, all of those. So I would line up my stuffed animals on the couch and do all those voices. And my mom came into the basement and thought I had friends over. I did. I had friends over. From there, I actually started working on a local television show in East Lansing, Michigan, doing voices for puppets. And I never stopped. So that's how it started.
My first voiceover job professionally was a radio commercial for White Castle. Yeah. I was much higher pitched, I was a bit younger in tone and also in my understanding of my own voice. Prior to that though, it was on an internet animation series called Undercover Brother, which was the first internet animation property to be turned into a feature film. And me and Gary Anthony Williams banged those few episodes out together.
Love him.
Yeah.
Love him.
Yeah, he kind of taught me the ropes a little bit better. I didn't know very much about it, and he was very gracious.
I think that worked with me.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, I'm looking at you thinking, why you look
I was
so
going
That's okay, let me voiceovers look like.
Yeah, good times.
So for Michael and Shannon, because you guys kind of came up during the golden age of Hanna-Barbera and the first golden age. You came up during the time of Al Blanc and Dallas Butler and Don Messick and Paul Frees and all those greats, Janet Waldo. Give us an idea of what some of those sessions were like back in those days.
You're in trouble. We did, just give an example. We did Speed Buggy, with Mel Blanc. And I've known Mel.
I deny everything.
Yes. We did stuff together, of course. And it was just all silly and great fun. But at one point, Mel made a character to speak about the character, which he had done in the Jack Benny show. So not anybody remembers it. And he was this car that was. And so, Mr. Benny, Mr. Benny, you know. So that was the character, and I was the male lead. And, oh, what do we do now, sweet buddy? One of those things. So the first show, and I have not worked with Mel other than that one thing that we did. I've never worked with him, sweet buddy. And we're sitting next to each other, and all the chairs are lined up, and the director's behind glass, etc. So let's get the read through. He said, great. And Mel does his thing, and I said, well, what do we do now, sweet buddy? We're in trouble. He said, up here. And he came back, and I went, so, and I have a whole show to do. And I thought, oh my God. So, and throughout the whole thing, he's going, and I'm like, throughout, finally, this second show comes, and we really have a heavy coming, which is our friend Alan Oppenheimer. Marvelous actor, VO guy, and of course you know him from Skeletor. So he comes in, and I say, Mel, meet Alan. And Alan goes, oh my, hi Mel, this is such a pleasure. What a treat. And Mel goes, oh, nice to meet you, Alan, this is great. I said, Alan, you're the heavy this week, so since you had most of your stuff with him, you sit next to him. So we're sitting in these tall chairs that sort of dip, like long high chairs. And he sits next to me and said, thank you, Mike, thank you. I said, sure, of course. And he sits actually next to Al. And then we have the other characters who are in the show sitting next to us. And we start the show, at which point I see, and I'm looking straight up, and I can see peripherally what's going on. And I see at one point Mel goes, and I see Alan go. I'm just looking, because we look at our scripts, I'm not looking at anybody. And I see, and I just in the corner of my eye, I see Alan go. And the second time around, when Mel goes, and I'll go like this again, he goes like this, he turns around and goes, to me. And I'm not looking at him. So through the whole show, every time he went like that, he would go like this in this tall chair. And before you know, all of us were leaning like this, right next to each other through the whole show. And then we come, you would drown him if you were watching the show. And you get nauseous watching us do this through the whole thing. Now, oblivious of everything, I mean, quintessential professional, just throughout that whole show. But at the end of it, I avoided Alan like a plague because I knew when we had our break, he was going to seek me out. This is one incident of the kind of shows that we had when we were working at Moderator.
But when you're rich and famous like Mel Blount, you take the spit, no matter what happens. Working with this era of voice performers was probably the greatest gift I was ever given, because they were all so talented. I mean, it was such a great group of people. And working with them, this little young man here, for 10 years was a real treat. That's a long time. But it's with a lot of the same people. And of course, Frank Welcome was right in there. I would do 40 ducks at the same time.
I have to tell you frankly, we were doing some show, Space, I don't know, Space Monkey, Space something. And I was Space Ace or something like that. Space Ace, whatever. And I was doing they wanted a kind of a Burt Reynolds type voice, and I gave that. And then Frank did something else, whatever we were doing. And at one point we had to talk under the water. And my character was first, and so Gordon was so wonderful, great. He said, okay, Mike, go ahead. And we talked underwater. I said, I'm going to talk underwater. And he said, go do a special effect. He said, no, we're going to do it. And I went, okay, can I take my coffee? And I said, I'll use my coffee. So I took a swig of the coffee and went, excuse me. And she finally goes, Frank, why don't you do your part first, because you have a lot to say, and then Mike can follow and see what you do. And he goes, okay, he goes, what do I do now, Frank? What are we in trouble? And I said, Frank, why didn't you tell me to do that? And he said, because it was so much fun watching you drown.
Follow this man, that's all.
What was it like to work with Dawes?
Very sweet. Dawes was like Mel, not that sense of humor, but just really sweet man. Just really committed to those characters. Quiet, which is the opposite of most of us crazies, and younger crazies in the show. He was very, very quiet.
Don Messick?
Messick also, wonderful voice. Really wonderful characters, etc. He did a shtick in between. He would do a Mexican frog that had nothing to do with the show. He was just wonderful. Again, just so we're all a little bit off, except for you. We were all just a little bit strange because we were always doing voices. All of us were doing privately in our cars, which is what we do as voice people. Is we constantly listen. What we do is we plagiarize, don't change your eyes, that's why God made your eyes. So we will be plagiarizing actors, grandma, grandpa, and that served us well throughout the years.
I'm trying to think of a question.
That's your job.
I know.
That was awesome.
Now, I got one. Tell us about a voice session from hell where you had a director that just didn't get it, or you lost your voice, or you just had to do, it was a long commercial job. Anyone from the other side have anything to add?
What was the question? The voice session?
Tell us about a voice session from hell.
Wow, that's too many.
Job from hell.
Well, yeah, I had one more. You know, the worst thing is when you have an indecisive director and they don't know what they want. You do it like 55 different ways and they still don't think they hear what they want because they don't know where they want. And they don't trust that you can give them stuff without them interfering, you know. I had this one, I was working on this HBO series called Spawn. Yeah, it came in the late 90s. Yeah, it was a nice animation. And the guy, I played like a sadistic pimp guy, right? And this guy wanted me to scold this prostitute in a way that I would talk to a child, which is something that a pimp really couldn't do. I don't think, I mean, you know, but he had no idea what he wanted. And I gave it to him about 5 or 6 different ways, and he was like, you know, in a huff, he was like, oh yeah, all right. About a week later, he called my agent, and he says, can we get Greg back in the studio, because I think I misdirected him. And he actually asked my agent if I would go back in for free. Yeah. And first of all, I didn't even want to go back, because I didn't want to see that guy ever again in my life. And when you had the audacity to ask me to go back in for free, I told my agent, hell no. As a matter of fact, you should charge him double. But I wound up doing going back in, but not for free. And he actually wound up apologizing because I think he knew that he pretty much screwed it up. I guess he had a bad day that day, you know, that was not very pleasant. Other than that, you know, most of the directors that I've worked with are very proficient. I've had the good fortune of working with Andrea Romano and Chris Zimmerman and Sue Blue. You know, these people that have been around for a while, they know what they're doing and they know what they want. And if you give it to them, they don't ask for it like a million times. So they can suggest. But then you have some directors that actually give you right. Sometimes when that happens too. But, no.
From hell. I was doing a show, and at this point, it was long into my career, and I had a moderate role, just a semi-character. But they had a movie star, a television movie star, play the lead. And he'd never done this before. And because he was a movie star, the director, who should remember this, was a little quiet regarding him. He didn't really want to tell him what to do because he was such a big star. And so we're opposite each other across the room, and in front of us. When you have you stand there, your script should be open so that you have page 1 facing you, page 2 facing you, because it's a thick script. And then as you move along, you have to move that script along the page so you get to the second page, because your line at the bottom may very well continue on to the top of the next page. You didn't realize this. So of course he's reading his character, but as he's doing the character, because he's an on-camera actor, he's turning to us. So he's back over here. This is the last time you do that business. He says, I really love you because of, and he's always, and I'm dying for him, and I can't say anything. I'm an actor, I'm across the way, mind my own business. And the director's not telling him, I know he's going to be doing pickups until he's an old man. And I feel so badly for him. So, and he's taking his pages, and as he finishes the page, he's throwing it off, and it lands on the floor, and you're dead, because now you've got to scrabble all those pages together, and it was really troublesome. So you hear the noise of the page as he goes, okay, this is the last time we're going to go to the, and it's you're dead, because now you're at the top of the next line. Comes break. We go to break, and we all hit the job because we're going to bathroom. And I'm standing there, and he comes up and he's standing next to me at the urinal. And he's going, I'm shit, I am dying out there, I am dying out there. So I thought, okay, I gotta say something, and don't say anything to the director. I said, look, don't say anything to the director, but I'll be able to help you if you like. And he turns around and he says, great, what do I do? And I said, well, the first thing you do is aim for the urinal because you're putting on my shoes. He says, what? And I said, told him about the script, where it should be, where it's at, don't turn to anybody else. The script is here, the script is anti-end, right? Judy looks at anti-end in Wizard of Oz, and she's going, anti-end, everything is down here. That's where the characters is. Really? And I said, yeah, don't turn to anybody. And make sure the script gently gets edited. He did the next part of the show. Ace. And the director, oh, great, but she was thrilled because she wasn't being badgered now by the producers because they're going to spend another 2 hours in the studio, which is costly. That was the session for me.
That's a good transition to another question now, because you also teach voiceover. How did you get into teaching?
I've been teaching since '85. While I was working, I had my own theater in Hollywood, in the Valley. It was strictly comedies, we produced comedies, and I thought, what can I use the theater for besides that? So I thought, well, I'll start teaching. So I taught people like Lucy Taylor, Neil Ross, Bob Bergen, Pat Music, and a lot of good people that I was training at the time. And at the same time, I think in the past 15 years, through a recommendation through one of the local studios, you guys ever do Buzzies? I think it was Andy that suggested, and we got a call, is there anybody that would like to teach Japanese students who only speak Japanese, coming from Japan, from Tokyo, Sapporo, and Osaka, etc., acting students in their late teens, middle teens, whatever it was, could you teach them that speaks Japanese? Well, I don't speak Japanese. I said, yeah, I'll do that if it's a gig that pays some bucks and pays some bucks. So I've been doing that for 15 years. I've had about 90 kids a session, just finished a session, 90 kids. I have a Japanese interpreter, Japanese American, who's a stand-up comic. And I said, so whenever I say something, please repeat it exactly, because I want them to know my sense of humor. So I learned the Japanese. I walk out and I say to the kids, "Watashi wa Sensei Michael Rebel." My name is Michael Rebel. Which is Michael. I said, Michael Rebel. Yeah, Michael Rebel. I said, okay, great. And I said, then, itadakimasu, and I go eat. I did something, they all laugh. I go, get them started. And I teach them how to laugh, how to do dogs, how to do chimpanzees, how to do birds, and I teach them ADR. I've been doing that for 15 years now. And it's great fun.
We just lost Lucy back in July, so what was it like to work with her back in the day?
She was a dear. You know Lucy, didn't you? You knew Lucy too. What a dear, sweet little voice.
She was a wonderful woman.
Fabulous lady.
Do you know who Lucy Taylor is? Voice of Minnie Mouse, who was actually married to Mickey Mouse.
Yes. Didn't she do Daisy Duck too at some point?
She did.
And Huey, Louie, and Dewey.
All of
And she was, when we did what was it? We did Snow White meets the Harlem Globetrotters. It was the first thing we did together. Great show. Scatman Crothers. Oh wow. Robert Doki and Stu Gillen.
Oh my God.
And two guys, I have no idea who they are.
Was this at Hanna-Barbera?
At Hanna-Barbera. And Joe Barbera is directing. And I don't want to go into it, but it was a hell session.
Oh my
Because it was, I mean, the guys were great, except for those two guys. And when one of the guys read something about the Wicked Witch, be careful of the house with the Wicked Witch, he said, be careful of the house with the Wicked Witch. And he continued on, and Scatman turned around, and he said, hey, N-word, where was the last time you had, well, Lucy heard that, I heard that, and we went, uh-oh. This is the 80s. This is the 80s. Nobody talked like that publicly. You didn't hear that. Not a word I'm certainly used to. Well, I said, okay, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Lucy goes, I'm out of here. And that it continued with Stu Gillen. It continued with Robert Doki. And I said, we're dead. The fight's going to break out. Because don't use those terms. We don't talk like that. But it was interesting. That conversation went on. And that was from hell. And I said to Joe Barbera afterwards, you got Shannon, who I worked with in Transformers, and Robert Doki, who I knew well, and Stu Gillen, who I worked with in another show. And he said, who are those two guys? Did they attempt to rob you in the alley and they're going to take your wallet or something and promise them a job? Because they couldn't read. And he said, well, it was very hard at that time in the 80s to find actors of color who could read, could do animation, I should say. And Scatman could, Stu could, Robert Doki could. And I don't know what the situation is, but I can tell you, it was a scary day, especially for Lucy and me, because we're off to the side, we were scared. I mean, I was like, I thought the fight was going to be serious.
I'm sorry. On behalf of the black population, I want to say I'm sorry you had to work in such a hazardous environment.
It's funny that you should mention those guys because I know, maybe before my time, but I do know of Scatman Crothers, of course. I did a Scatman impression for an episode of Powerpuff Girls. It's called The Sandman.
Oh,
Yeah, I did the voice of The Sandman. It was basically Scatman. When Scatman was dead, you know. And so it was, the Sandman. He was also great in, was that Lady in the Tramp? He was
the guy in the alley.
Yes, yeah. But it's interesting, now the other two gentlemen, do you know if they were professional actors at all?
Robert? Absolutely.
I know Robert McQueen, of course.
Stu Gillen, the guys.
No, the two back alley
They might have been, but I gotta tell you, when you read a line that says, watch out for the dwarfs, and you say, watch out for the dwarf, at which point Shannon says, that's dwarf, an N-word, and the guy says, what's that? He says, little things, they're little people, man, don't you know what a dwarf is? And of course, Lucy looks at me, she's Snow White, and I'm the prince, and I'm going, oh, okay, this is going to turn into a war. My knowledge was caca at that point. I was young. I was looking in the 80s. What the hell did I know? All I knew was these guys looked like it was going to be, and it wasn't. It never went there. But I was peeing on my pants. I should have worn pants. I got to tell you. And I knew Lucy was nervous at the time.
Unless they have some working material actors.
But they were just really bad actors, yeah. But that was from hell. After during lunchtime, Lucy said she would go back. I said, yeah, we're gonna go back. It's in here. It's fine. It's all fine. Everybody's good. Scott's talking to the guys. Scott's talking to the assistant. Guys talking. But it was scary. That was a scary.
Well, as a point of fact, there are plenty of black actors who could have carried the torch.
That was the question I asked.
That was called bad casting.
Bad casting.
I'm sure there were qualified actors even in the 80s who could have done that.
Again, it was a bad choice. The idea was to do, I said to Silverman, why the Harlem Globetrotters mean Snow White? That's like schmooze in space. Another bad word.
No, it still happens though, it still happens.
It does still
Yeah,
happen.
they'll bring whatever the popular musician is or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
This is where there should be a qualified actor. Absolutely. And that's unfortunate that culturally that happens to people in that way.
But people learn. I mean, I directed LeBron James in his series. And in the beginning, it was hard work. And by the middle of the series, he was gliding through. He got it. He knew what he was doing. But in the beginning, this was a basketball player that I'm directing. And he was having some difficulties. Let's take it slow. But some of the other rappers that I directed, fabulous. They really knew what they were doing. But that's, it's a standard procedure.
You know, there's some wonderful stories too, and I know you have many of them. I worked on a show called the Glow Friends, and the Glow Friends, and they kicked off with the Glow Friends Save Christmas, and Carol O'Connor, you know who Carol O'Connor is, from All in the Family, et cetera, he played Santa, and we were all, freaking out. We were all very admired him, loved him. And during the breaks, he would actually hold court and tell us stories. It was like we were little kids sitting at his feet. And we stayed for hours after the recording session, and he just was so kind and spoke to us and told us about his life and his experiences. So I know there's a lot of very famous people who are brought in, and some are insecure and have to be sequestered away, and I've done shows where the star that was brought in didn't know what they were doing, and the next session they were in their own private booth, and we were all by ourselves. But then there's some marvelous, famous people who come in and are just so generous and kind. So
it's so much easier to work that way. And I know you guys, I know everybody. It's so much easier when somebody gets it.
Absolutely, especially in such a niche part of the business. As you touched on with the on-camera actor who would deliver his lines in that way, it is its own discipline, and you have to kind of be prepared for it. You have to understand what you're getting into, the sandbox that you're playing in, because if you play by different rules, you won't necessarily be successful, and you'll hold up the process. And I think one of the reasons you see and hear a lot of the same actors working is because they have that shorthand.
Yes.
With the director, with the producers, with the team, and you're not costing them money because time is money. Just want to add that.
I just want to say that's a very good point, because it's a time-consuming thing. I mean, I think your average session, you may be lucky if you get 4 hours in a session. And sometimes you have to knock out maybe 2 shows, depending on how the shows are. So you do have to have that shorthand, you have to have that knowledge. And it's a different kind of acting. It's very different than on-camera acting, because the stimulus comes basically, especially if you're like in games or something like that, when you're booth by yourself, you have to draw from something that's internal. And it's an external stimulus, but you have to act like you are in the moment. You're not actually reacting to anything that's physically in front of you or to another actor, but you have to sell it. You have to bring that emotion like you are in a scene. And some actors, what really shocked me when I started doing this is I worked with some pretty big names too. And I was shocked just how bad they were, because I'm thinking they've been doing this for years. But then I realized that they were trained a different way. And it's a whole different thing, So it's not,
You're talking about voice animation.
I'm talking about voice over period. In animation as well, especially animation. I mean, I've worked with some pretty big actors too, and they come in and they get flustered. One actor kept turning the page, on the mic.
I can hear that.
Yes. Yeah, no idea.
And also, I love that when an actor takes his beats. Beat. And in voice animation, you gotta move.
Yeah.
You gotta move. So if you have a beat,
It's a rhythm.
you take a beat out.
Right.
And so in other words, you answer the phone, you go, hello, oh hi. You don't go, hello, oh hi.
You don't talk over.
But you don't go, hello, oh hi. What happens? I said, you paint the picture. Nothing's in these kids are watching a character go. That's it. So, and I've watched top pros come in, and I remember, I think we were doing the Bible at Hanna-Barbera, a major actor who I adore and I'm friends with. But at that point, I could see he's the guest, and there's two other big stars of the guest, and all of us who are the regular working actors and that, and they start to do the thing, and he says a line talking to his son in the Bible about, I guess he was playing a major character. He said, "My son, when you go to the mountain, you will find that," and I'm looking at him, by the time he finished, he had a spider web attached to him. And he got about maybe half the page through, and the director's not saying, could you go in? And I went, and he looked at me and I said, "Could you speed it up? I had a kid in college by the time I finished." And the director looked at me and says, "Thank you, Michael." I said, "Sorry, I just want to get out of here."
Working with Michael is a training ground all its own, though, so you're lucky to do it.
Renae, I want to talk a little bit about Ninja Turtles real quick. So, also in July, we just lost Stu Rosen, who was the voice director and casting director for Ninja Turtles. So tell us about what it was like to work with Stu and audition for him.
This is a question you want to ask me?
Well, just give us an idea of what it was like to work with Rob and Barry and all those guys.
Hi. Okay. I love Stu. He was a character and a half. Stu was a very large man, and he smoked a lot. And out of the booth, he was very nice. In the booth, it was a little different. But I think my favorite story about Stu Rosen was, it was about the third or fourth Ninja Turtles of the 5-part miniseries. And you're always a little insecure. I don't know about none of these people are insecure, but I'm insecure. And you're always thinking you're getting replaced any moment, and especially the director tells you you're getting replaced any moment, which Stu was good at. And so he came up to me and he said, "Well, you weren't the first April. Actually, I didn't even present you at the first go-around. But I played the 200 auditions, and they didn't like any of them. And then I played yours, and they said, 'That's April.'" I'm thinking, "Oh, okay." Scared the hell out of me. So Stu was, he had the sweet and sour. It was like Chinese food. Sweet and sour.
Such a one.
Okay, the end. Is that it?
Yeah, that was good. But also talk about what it was like to record with Barry and Rob and Tony.
Oh my God. Well, I had the good fortune of being the only female cast member. There were guest stars. Jennifer Darling was on with us. Tress McNeil. We had a few women that would guest, or Irma was a kind of a regular, but she wasn't on every show. And I had the pleasure of working with the most amazing cast, with Rob Paulson, Barry Gordon, Townsend Coleman, and Cam Clark, and the great James Avery, and Pat Fraley, and Peter Renae, and on and on. They are giving, they are kind, they are funny. You said sandbox, and that's one of my favorite ways to describe voiceover. People say, "What's it like?" And I always say, it's like your parents dropped you off at the playground, and they said, "That's the sandbox, and don't throw sand." And then they leave, and then everybody throws sand. That's what it's like being in the recording studio. We were lucky to all record together, and we've all had that experience. Nowadays, it seems more that you're recording individually by yourself. So you don't have that connection with that fabulous person who you learn to love. The Ninja Turtles were not written the way you heard it. That was created by the most talented cast I have been blessed to work with. These guys took those characters and made them who they were. And without being able to be in the studio together and play off each other and make those relationships, I don't think Turtles would have been the success that it is. So I don't know how it would have turned out if we'd done it the way we do it today.
I would love to see the outtakes of that.
There are.
I'd like to add one thought there that Renae just sort of kicked in my brain here. one of the differences between an actor who begins in the theater, I had a typical, the college theater whole thing, upbringing. I was very comfortable when I started to earn a living. But when you get into the animation field, it's the first time and the last time, really, that you really get to stretch your chops like never before. Only in the animation field you get to do cars whizzing by on a microphone. And you name all the characters. I mean, you don't just do one voice in these series. You're responsible for 3, whatever they need, plus your voice. But there is no other field that I can think of where you can stretch as an actor.
And you have to think of it. I once had to play Killer Mucus in Humanoids. And they said, you're going to be this monster. I said, I played monster. It's great. Now, there was no dialogue. It was just attitude, and your attitude had to be from all of that. Well, talk about coming up with stuff that I'd eaten when I was 13 years old. That was a day when I finished with that. In the day, I sound like Mel Torme. What the hell was that?
Shannon, just real quick, we're super friends. What was it like to work with Casey Kasem, Danny Dark, and some of those guys?
Well, the fabulous 4, as I call this, they were all so individual. Danny Dark, our wonderful Superman, he was personally rather quiet, rather internal with his role, and he was one of the actors, as was Gary Owens, who did the hand over the ear to hear what he sounded like. He was the first one who passed away. He died at a young age, actually. And it was lovely to know that, but after 10 years, I really never felt like I knew him. That would describe Danny. Casey Kasem was a loving man, and obviously who Casey was. And he had a lovely wife and children in the years I knew him. And then he had another wife, and I don't know that he had children. I'm not sure about that. And Olin Soule, I have a wonderful story about Olin Soule. He was a much older man than I am. He was Batman. He did the voice of Batman. And years prior to my being, or his being hired on that show, I showed up to do I had the good fortune of being called upon without having to go to an interview quite often. And I went to a home savings and loan commercial at KTLA to do a home savings and loan with, who was the speaker for them? A man who was well known at the time. And lo and behold, Olin Soule walks in, and we're just in the makeup room, and all of a sudden it becomes very clear that he is there to play my husband in the commercial. And I'm just blown away. It was my first realization that they really don't care how much older the man is than the woman. It just will never go the other direction. And we became friends, and then of course, super friends happened. He was a lovely man.
You think of Olin as Batman, you think of massive, big, handsome jaw that can cut glass, whatever. There's this wispy guy, older guy, with that wonderful voice.
He was a major voice actor in Chicago. He used to go from job to job to job, flying through town. Just huge career.
All right, they're telling me to cut off the panel now, but before we do that, I just want, for anyone out there who wants to do voiceover, what's some advice that you could give to anyone out there who's hoping to pursue this?
Take a class with Michael Bell.
What you do is go to YouTube, and there's the Michael Bell voice animation class. It's free. It's an hour of my teaching these 5 groundling kids.
Might have known it was free acting.
And it's just sort of a basic class to show you how to mic technique, some of the tricks, and how to develop characters. And let me suggest everybody join an improv class or an improv school, because once you start developing the ability to improvise and start developing the ability to create characters, vocally as well as physically, because I'm going to tell you, and I know you guys, you get behind the mic, He wants it physical. Something happens, you're playing a strengthy character, you're here, you're playing a buff character, you're buff. Whatever it is, when your character, your little character, that's one of the things that I teach, and I also teach my Japanese students, which is important.
That's the answer.
All right, that's a good way to end the panel. So join me in thanking Michael Beck, Shannon Farnon, Phil Eagles, Renae Jacobs, and James Mathis, commentators, cartoons, and the voices behind the panel. We hope you enjoy the rest of Toon Con.